الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we ask Allah to exalt the mention and grant peace and send His blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his companions and all those who follow them on their path of righteousness until the end of time. We continue with the discussion on the azkar or the awrad. We went through the segmentation of the night and the day and what one is expected to say. Hopefully by now you have invested into the small book Husn al-Muslim, the Muslim Fortress, available in English and Urdu and Chinese and Korean and every language in the world as far as I know. So there's no excuse that we don't get this book and actually memorize the azkar which are mentioned in it, inshallah, for maximizing the benefit. The chapter today or tonight is فصل في اختلاف الأوراد باختلاف الأحوال. A chapter on the variation of the remembrance based on the variation of the circumstances. You're not in one condition all the time, right? Are you in one condition all the time? You change from what to what? He said, اعلم أن السالك لطريق الآخرة لا يخلو من 6 أحوال. Know that the one who is seeking the hereafter cannot avoid being in one of 6 categories, 6 conditions. إما أن يكون عابدا, either he is a devout worshipper, أو عالما, or a scholar, أو متعلما, or a student, أو waliyan, or a judge or a person in charge, waliyul amr, أو محترفا, someone who is a craftsman. Nowadays محترف is a professional. Even nowadays that would work, a professional in some business, professionalism. أو مستغرقا بمحبة الله عز وجل مشغولا به عن غيره, or someone who is immersed in the love of Allah, too occupied with that to be worried about anything else. So either you are a worshipper or a scholar or a student, or you are a ruler, someone in charge, or you are a craftsman, you have a profession. I believe maybe most of us fall into that category. And we work, and then everything else is kind of secondary. Illa man rahimahullah. Anyways, the Shaykh will explain the variation between these people. He said, Al-awwal, Al-abid, وهو المنقطع عن الأشغال كلها إلى التعبد. Al-abid is the one who has cut himself off from any other business, any other distraction, except ibadah. You need to lower my voice for the brothers, it's not fair for them. فهذا يستعمل ما ذكرنا من الأوراد. This kind of person, he will use what we have mentioned of the awrad, and he is consistent in doing them and fulfilling them on their time, so on and so forth. وقد تختلف وظائفه, and he may be involved in different kinds of ibadat. فقد كانت أحوال المتعبدين من السلف مختلفة. The condition of the righteous predecessors in ibadah was different as well. فمنهم من كان يغلب على حاله التلاوة. Some of them, he would occupy most of his time in the tilawah. Tilawah of what? Recitation of the Quran. طيب. حتى يختم في يوم ختمة أو ختمتين أو ثلاثة. So much so that he would finish the Quran in one day, the whole Quran in one day, or even maybe twice, even 3 times in one day. وكان فيهم من يكثر التسبيح, ومنهم من يكثر الصلاة, ومنهم من يكثر الطواف بالبيت. And among them were those who would remember Allah often, and others who would pray often, and others who would do plenty of circumambulation around the Kaaba. فإن قيل فما الأولى أن ينصرف إليه أكثر الأوقات من هذه الأوراد. If one were to ask, okay, which one of these should I dedicate most of my time? If I do have time, which one of these various ibadat should I invest in the most? He said, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ قِرَاءَةَ الْقُرْآنِ فِي الصَّلَاةِ قَائِمًا مَعَ التَّدَبُّرِ يَجْمَعُ الْجَمِيعِ. Know that you reciting the Quran while standing in the salah brings a relation between all of them. Because in the salah you're doing tasbih. Yes or right? Yes or no? Prove it to me. Subhana Rabbi al-Azim, Subhana Rabbi al-Ala. That's tasbih. You recited the Quran. Sah? In the salah? Fatiha and whatever else. طيب. Did you also stand up in salah? Are you involved in salah? Yes. The only thing left is tawaf. It's okay. When you go to the Kaaba, you can make it up. And no one will say, well, tawaf is not involved. ولكن ربما عشرت المواظبة على ذلك. The Shaykh said, however, it may be difficult to be able to do this consistently. That you often have time to stand up in a long prayer. والأفضل يختلف باختلاف حال الشخص. And this is the correct stance. The truth is, it differs according to the person. According to the person. So Ibn Mas'ud used to say that verily I seek strength by abandoning fasting, for example, in salah, because that was what was suitable for him. So each person knows which ibadah is most effective for him, therefore he engages in it. وَمَقْصُودُ الْأَوْرَادِ تَزْكِيَةَ الْقَلْبِ وَتَطْهِيرِهِ. The objective of these awrad anyways is the purification of the heart and the cleansing of the heart. فَلْيَنْظُرُ الْمُرِيدُ مَا يَرَاهُ أَشَدُّ تَأْثِيرًا فِيهِ لِيُوَاظِبَ عَلَيْهِ. So then let the one who's seeking fetch which one is most effective for you, then be consistent in that. Then be consistent in that. فَإِذَا أَحَسَّ بِمَلَلٍ انْتَقَلَ عَنْهُ إِلَى غَيْرِهِ. If you feel some sort of boredom, you get bored, then you shift to another ibadah. May read too much Quran, then like in Ramadan and the odd nights where you're looking for Laylatul Qadr. It's not possible that you're going to pray all night, really. Nor is it possible that you're going to read Quran all night. Nor is it possible that you're going to repeat the dua, Allahumma annaka afuun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. So you have a variety. You have a variety. When you feel that your heart is no longer present in this ibadah, shift to another. It's very important because the objective of the ibadat is to attain a spiritual benefit. This is why I'm amazed, personally, I'm amazed at the person who makes dua while he's looking around and checking his hands and doing all kinds of stuff. I've seen it maybe in over 70% of the people. He's making dua, then you see he checks his nails. Then he finds something in his nail, then in the dua, goes like this. Another one is looking at you, looking at his glasses. And Allah does not accept this kind of dua. Allah does not accept the dua with a heart that is preoccupied. Make dua, you have to realize that you're asking Allah for something. And so we always give this human example so we can understand. You don't stand in front of someone asking him for something while you're playing with your phone. If you wanted a raise from your boss, this is hypothetically speaking, you don't tell him, so can you give me a raise? I'm working very hard. Like, what? Look at me when you're talking to me, man. What's wrong with you? Hypothetically speaking, this is at work with a human being. Like, and lillahi al-mathalu al-a'la, to Allah belongs the best example. This is only to bring the idea to mind. We don't compare Allah to His creation. But so how are we going to make dua while we're busy with cleaning our hands and cleaning our nails and checking out the people around us and so on and so forth? That because the heart is not there. It became a 'ada. It became a 'ada. And this is the calamity of ibadat which become 'adat. So you find the people often who make dua after the salah, after every faridah, are the ones who make dua in this fashion. Why? Because this bid'ah of making dua after the salah is what led them to this kind of deadness of the heart. The idea of raising your hands in dua after the salah has no foundation in Islam. Never did the Prophet ﷺ conclude his salah and then raise his hand and make dua. Not individually, not among a congregation he was leading in salah. Not even once in the whole span of prophethood where he was alive and leading the Sahaba in salah. Not even one daleel, not even one. And anyone who claims otherwise, say, قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Say, produce your evidence. This is why the ulama, the major senior scholars, say that this act is a bid'ah. For you to raise your hands in dua after salah, after the faridah specifically, is a bid'ah. Making dua is fine, because we have evidences to the effect that the dua after the salah is accepted. But the act of raising the hand is another ibadah. The verbal speech is ibadah, and raising the hands is ibadah, and moving your fingers is ibadah. These are separate ibadah. So including the ibadah of Raising the hands is where the bid'ah is, not in the dua itself. Not in the dua itself. Just so no one will misunderstand. So some people became stuck on this, Khalas, it's culturally acceptable, everybody does it, so anytime you speak against it, you become, this troublemaker. Let the people, ya akhi, make dua, ya shaykh. Ajr, ya akhi. You want to prevent the people from You want to prevent the people from making dua? This is what the logic says. The person's making dua, khali, let him make dua. طيب, based on your qaida, come. I want you after every ayah of the Fatiha to send the salah upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do it in the salah, ya akhi. Say, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala nabiyyina Muhammad. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Allahumma salli wa sallim. Do it, ya akhi, salah upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Any problem in that? Is there any problem in the salah and the salam? La, ma fi mushkila. But you doing it after every ayah of the Fatiha is a mushkila. The problem is not in the ibadah of salat and salam. The problem is in the timing where you're doing it. So the problem is not in this dua and the raising the hand. The problem is in the timing. Is that clear? It's big fitna because of this. Until now, people can't believe it. So they still do it, and sadly, it became a habit. Khalas, he feels the need to make this dua. Whether he feels it or not, whether it's important to him. What were you doing in the salah the whole time? In sujood, before the taslim. This is the time of dua in the salah. What do you think? The time in salah is better or outside salah? In salah. This is the best time for dua. The closest you are to Allah Azza wa Jal is during sujood. And it's most likely that your dua will be accepted. And we have the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. We just have to stick to it. على كل حال, the Shaykh said, فَلْيَضْنَعْ فَإِذَا أَحَسْ قال أبو سليمان الداراني فإذا وجدت قلبك في القيام فلا تركع وإذا وجدته في الركوع فلا ترفع. Subhanallah. He said, if you find your heart, you find it alive and present, while standing, don't bow. Not yet. As long as you're engaged in the qira'ah, and you're feeling the qira'ah, and the qira'ah is affecting your heart positively, don't go into ruku' yet. Stay, as long as you're feeling this feeling. And he said, and if you find it in the ruku', let's say in the ruku' you find in this feeling of glorifying Allah and magnifying Him, he said, لا ترفع, don't stand up. Not yet, until you have, fulfilled this need of your heart. So this was the fuhu al-abid. Now this abid could be a nice guy, but he could be a disaster as well. The abid, he could be a nice guy. Beautiful brother, mashallah. He's engaged in ibadah all the time, but he can also be a troublemaker. How is that? Who knows? What am I speaking about? How can an abid cause trouble for others?
Because he cut himself about another people,
La, that's good. to some extent. Aywa, tab, what's the dalil? The hadith of the but the hadith of the one who killed 99 people. The hadith of the one who killed 99 people, when he asked about the most knowledgeable person, they led him to a abid. And the guy was, mashallah, qiyam all night, siyam all day. He was fully equipped with ibadah. Yet he gave him a fatwa. The fatwa is, no tawbah for you. You're a mujrim. You killed 99 people wrongfully. Allah will not forgive you. There's no tawbah for you. And he gave him this fatwa which did what? It cost him his life. He died because of this fatwa. When the criminal, now he's been forgiven by Allah, as you know from the ahadith, when he wasn't satisfied with the answer and he searched again, then they led him to an actual alim. What did the alim tell him? Who can prevent you from tawbah? So Abid did good for himself, but he was a disaster for others, and he harmed himself as well in the process. So it's good to be an abid and everything, but hey, then that person needs to know the limitations of that ibadah, and does not move on to the ilm. And of course, a alim is superior to a abid, ultimately, because the alim benefits other people. So his nafi' muta'addin. his benefit supersedes the individual to others, whereas the abid is only benefiting himself. Specifically, if, as the brother mentioned, he is secluded from the people so much so that there's no amr bil ma'ruf, no nahi anil munkar, no nothing. He's just minding his own business and leaving the people to go to hell. That's not good either. Anyways, that's another discussion. Now the thani, the Shaykh said, العالم الذي ينتفع الناس بعلمه في فتوى أو تدريس أو تصنيف أو تذكير فترتيبه في الأوراد يخالف ترتيب العابد. The second category of people is the scholar, the one whom people benefit from him, either by a fatwa, a verdict, and he has to be a mufti, أو تدريس, or educating the people, teaching them, أو تصنيف. What is تصنيف? طيب, but when we say صنف العالم, what do we mean by that specifically? Authoring, writing, the ones who write books, and so on and so forth. Mujalladat, actually. If you look at Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani and some of the other scholars, just the Mujallah, the Fatawa of Shaykh al-Sabah ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. It's something that blows your mind. How much can you do in this short lifespan, rahimahullah? Spent most of it in prison. Well, نعم. أو تذكير or تذكير. What is تذكير? Reminder. What is موعظة?
Give the advice. Warning.
I'm looking for one word. La. Warning is تهديد. Now we have two words for maw'idah. We have to know them. If you people want to give da'wah, you have to learn these words. You cannot afford to give da'wah while every time you want to say something, wait, it's not going to work. You have to have your bucket of vocabulary. Then afterwards it can grow. But initially you have to have something. Maw'idah. Yes, Sheikh, give me an English word. I know where it comes from, barakallah fi. Maw'idah comes from wa'ad. But what is wa'ad? La. I must have used it in these classes, if not others, tens of times. Reminder tadhkira ya Sheikh. Huh? What? Naif. Hello, wallah. Admonishment. A maw'idah is either admonishment or exhortation. Okay, so remember these words. So the verb is to exhort or to admonish. He admonished him, meaning he reminded him with a particular effect, which is al-wa'd. As it's, it's tadhkir plus, really going to the heart. Now, because you may remind someone of something by just mentioning it. Maw'idah is when it goes to the heart and there's some sort of effect. So that's why Al-Nu'man bin Bashir, who said, وَعَظَنَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم مَوْعِظَةً بَلِيغَةً وَجَلَتْ مِنْهَا الْقُلُوبُ وَذَرَفَتْ مِنْهَا الْعُيُونُ, until the end of the hadith. So the Prophet ﷺ gave him such a strong admonishment that their hearts trembled and their eyes shed tears. So this is maw'idah. So it's either admonishment or exhortation. Next time I ask you, inshallah, if you don't know, I guess you don't know.
Beneficial advice.
طيب, you want to go around it. Mash. So the Shaykh said, this person who's involved in this, the alim who's involved in fatwa or teaching or learning, he has a whole other arrangement for awrad. فإنه يحتاج إلى المطالعة في الكتب. He needs to dedicate time for reading. He needs to read and go through the books, scanning through the books to see, looking for something. It's not the regular things. والتصنيف or authoring, والإفادة and benefiting people. فإن استغرق الأوقات في ذلك فهو أفضل مما يشتغل به بعد المكتوبات. If he were to spend his whole time doing that is superior to him after he has done the maktubat, which is the obligatory. After he's done with the obligation, what is superior is engaging in that which will increase his knowledge or benefit the people further, more than the nawafil. That has to be understood in order not to assume bad about the ulama and the scholars who may appear to the people as being not doing enough nawafil because they have a more important objective to fulfill. That's why we have to know this categorization between the amil and the alim and so on and so forth. It doesn't mean that we're encouraging anyone to abandon the nawafil with the hujjah that I'm wallah involved in knowledge and seeking knowledge. And there's a moderation in between. But for this person, this is better. This is better. وإنما نعني بالعلم, however, the Shaykh said, المقدم على العبادة العلم الذي يرغب في الآخرة. However, the kind of knowledge we are speaking about that should be given precedence is the one which will make you look forward to the hereafter. Because it could be ilm of dunya, or it could be a kind of ilm that is not as beneficial for your heart as that ibadah. Could be the ilm of, some particular ilm which doesn't really benefit the heart. Specifically nowadays, is if some people may spend too much time in investigating, certain things about their brethren in da'wah that doesn't really need to be investigated because they're supposed to be on the same page. But because of some political differences, then they spend their whole time fetching for mistakes. وَيُعِينُ عَلَى سُلُوكِ طَرِيقِهَا, and it helps that person, travel on or tread the path which leads to the life to come. وَالْأَوْلَى بِالْعَالِمْ أَيْضًا أَنْ يُقَسِّمَ أَوْقَاتَهُ لأن استغراق الأوقات في العلم لا تصبر عليه النفس. And the scholar also should know how to divide his own time, because spending your whole time in the acquisition of knowledge is something that you cannot handle. You cannot bear it. فينبغي أن يخص ما بعد الصبح إلى طلوع الشمس بالأذكار والأوراد على ما ذكرنا. So he should, even the alim, he should dedicate the time after the morning, the fajr, until the sunrise. He should dedicate that time for adhkar and awrad. And Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said, this time for him is the nutrition for the day. Without it, he cannot function if he did not get that portion of the dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal. ثم ما بعد طلوع الشمس إلى الضحى في الإفادة والتعليم. Then from the sunrise until duha, and by the way, scholars today until now, they practice this. They actually spend countless hours teaching. The Shaykh said from sunrise until duha should be spent in educating and teaching and benefiting the people. فإن لم يكن عنده من يتعلم صرف ذلك الزمان في التفكر في العلوم. If he doesn't have students whom he can teach, then he should spend that time in reflecting on the sciences which he's learning. فإن صفاء القلب بعد الفراغ من الذكر وقبل الاشتغال بهموم الدنيا يعين على التفطن للمشكلات. Because the purity of the heart, or the vacancy of the heart, after engaging in dhikr and before getting involved with the dunya and the worries of the dunya, is among the things which will enable you to be very particular and analytical regarding problems, because the scholar has to analyze. He has to reflect when a fatwa is sought from him, and mind you, specifically, he actually goes through his mind of the adillah, what he knows from the adillah. It could be available in the book for him to refer to, and it could be like many of the ulama of the past, everything was stored in their mind, in their brain. So he has to have time with it. He's relaxing to think about the matter, to bring the dalil for this particular matter. Otherwise, if he's too busy, he's going to give a quick fatwa, and that may not be good. ثم من ضحوة النهار إلى العصر للتصنيف والمطالعة. Then from the time after the daytime until Asr should be spent for reading or authoring. لا يترك ذلك إلا في وقت أكل أو طهارة أو مكتوبة أو قيلولة. This is for the scholar. And he should not leave that unless he is going to eat, or he's going to make wudu or purify himself, or he's going to perform a prescribed prayer, or he's going to nap. ومن العصر إلى اصفرار الشمس بسماع ما يقرأ عليه من تفسير أو حديث أو علم نافع. And he should spend the time from Asr until the yellowishness of the sun. He should spend it in what is being read to him of tafsir or hadith or beneficial knowledge. ومن الإصفرار, usually يقرأ عليه, could be that he is the sheikh and the talib reads the matan and then he gives the sharh. ومن الإصفرار إلى الغروب يشتغل بالاستغفار والتسبيح. And from the sunset until from that yellowish zone until sunset, then he should spend that time in seeking forgiveness and remembering Allah Azza wa Jalla. فيكون ورده الأول من عمل اللسان. So the first word of his would be the action of the tongue. والثاني من عمل القلب بالتفكر. The second one is the heart in reflection. وَالثَّالِثُ فِي عَمَلِ الْعَيْنِ وَالْيَدِّ وَالْمُطَالَعَةِ وَالنَّسْخِ. And the third one in the actions of the limbs, like the eye and the hand, by reading or by copying. What do you call them? The scribes. The scribes are those who get an original book and then they write a replica of that particular book. It's called the scribe. You may hear this in the da'wah for the Christians, because their scribes are horrible. They had very bad scribes. Some of them were actually wicked. So they deliberately changed the Bible. Or they would get something, like one of them would be doing some scribe of a book from the Bible, and then he would find something in the footnote, yani mulahada or comment that someone wrote, and if he found it convenient to be in the Bible, he would take it from the footnote and put it in the Bible and give it a number. Yani wild. But this is known and proven from the Christians, regardless of their denomination. والرابع نعم والرابع بعد العصر في عمل السمع لتتروح العين واليد. And then fourthly, the fourth word of his after Asr is for the hearing, so that he can relax from having to look or from having to write. فإن المطالعة ونسخ بعد العصر ربما أضر بالعين. Because reading or writing or copying after Asr perhaps would harm the eye. وأما الليل فأحسن قسمة فيه قسمة الشافعي رحمه الله. As for the night, the best kind of breakdown is the breakdown of Imam al-Shafi'i رحمه الله. فإنه كان يقسمه ثلاثة أقسام أو ثلاثة أجزاء. He used to divide the night into three. الثلث الأول كتابة العلم. The first third he would be authoring, writing. وَالثَّانِي لِلصَّلَاةِ. And the second third of the night is spent in prayer. وَالثَّالِثُ لِلنَّوْمِ. And the third one, sleeping. فَأَمَّا الصَّيْفِ فَرُبَّمَا لَا يَحْتَمِلُ ذَلِكَ إِلَّا إِذَا كَانَ أَكْثَرَ نَوْمِ النَّهَارِ. As for the summer, you may not be able to deal with that because of the variation in the length of the day and the night. الثالث, if you're neither a abid nor a alim, then maybe you are this one, حال المتعلم, the student. فإن التعلم أفضل من التشاغل بالأذكار والنوافل. That's why we've emphasized this before, still maybe not really understood. The learning is superior, is better than busying yourself with adhkar or voluntary acts of worship. So I've said it before, I say it again. You may wonder, right after the salah, you set up the whole thing. They set it up anyways, but even if they didn't set it up anyways quickly, that would be my recommendation, personally, as a brother. Why? Because this is better than the nafilah which you're going to pray or the nafilah which I would have prayed. This is better in this regard. For the one, teaching, if we're going to call that teaching, or more like sharing, and for the one, learning. The nafilah, is it going to run away? It's not going to run away. How long is the class? Till Fajr? So, I'm amazed again at some people who get up and pray and then they continue listening to the dars. By Allah, were you able to focus in these 2 rak'at while I'm screaming on the speakers? You're going to tell me you're able to disconnect yourself from the voice and the whatever you're hearing and be completely focused on the salah? Unless you are Shaykh al-Islam, that's impossible. We, without anything, in the most silent of situation, our minds are wandering, Allah knows where in the salah. Let alone with all this noise. So, this is superior to that nafilah. You can pray it later. The asl is that you pray it at home anyways. The asl for the sunnah is that the sunnah is prayed at home. Unless somebody knows from himself that if he goes at home, no way he's going to pray. Too tired, too lazy, too many children, too many wives, or even one wife, which is equal to too many wives. One can do the job sometimes of 4, mashallah, tabarakallah. In which case, let me just pray in the masjid, and at least I know I pray in the masjid. Because once I go home, all it is where's the milk, and where's the this, and where's the cheese, and even when he's praying, she's talking to him. You finish the salah and I'm going to tell you some more things. Ya Hajji, let us pray, Allah yarda alayk. Anyways, the women of nowadays are amazing. Their sisters here, never mind. We take that last one back. So where was I? So the Shaykh said, so this is better than busying yourself with adhkar and nawafil. وحكم المتعلم حكم العالم في ترتيب الأوراد. And the same categorization or the same segmentation of the awrad for the student is like that of the scholar. لكنه يشتغل بالاستفادة حين يشتغل العالم بالإفادة. So while the scholar is spending that time in teaching, the student is spending that time in learning. But so it's the same division though. وبالتعليق and where was I? نعم. وبالتعليق والنسخ حين يشتغل العالم بالتصنيف. And he should be busy in writing his comments on the metin or the book which he's going over. He's writing comments or he's copying himself while the scholar is busy in authoring. فإن كان من العوام كان حضوره مجالس الذكر والعلم والوعظ أفضل من اشتغاله بالأوراد المتطوع بها. And if he's a layman, he's not really a student of knowledge, he just attends these gatherings to hear what's going on. Because we have to differentiate between a talib al-ilm and someone who's really seeking knowledge and some of us who may be just listeners, just listening. So even if he's from among those who simply want to listen, the Shaykh said busying himself in this majalis of dhikr and ilm and admonishment is better for him than busying himself with the voluntary acts of worship. So even in this case, listening to the dars is the most important thing that can be done versus the individual ibadah which can always be delayed and postponed. Sheikh Albani? Hey. فضلا في علم. أيوة. The hadith صح Sheikh Albani, mashallah. So the brother is advising me to mention a hadith which I think is really appropriate in this context, which was authenticated by Sheikh Albani rahimahullah, that the virtue of knowledge is better than the virtue of salah. The virtue engaging in knowledge is superior to virtue in engaging in salah, which really reinforces this whole principle. Again, no one is saying stop praying. We're just saying if you are in this predicament where you have to favor one over the other, you favor ilm, however it may be. And if there's no such competition, then you go for the salah. Doesn't mean because of ilm we abandon all the salawat. We said again, moderation, jazakallah khair. Al-Rabi'u, maybe the last one, what time is it? 32 minutes, okay. Al-Wali, مثل الإمام والقاضي أو المتولي للنظر في أمر من أمور المسلمين. The fourth kind of person, I don't think any one of us is that, or maybe we are in a sense, the imam of the Muslimin, of course, or the judge, or the one who's in charge of the affairs of the Muslims. It could be actually a governmental job. فقيامه بحاجات المسلمين وأغراضهم على وفق الشرع وقصد الإخلاص أفضل من الأوراد المذكورة. Fulfilling the needs of the Muslims and looking after their needs, which is in agreement with the legislation, and seeking sincerity is better than the awrad which was mentioned. Imagine, let's just say someone working in a governmental position where you have people standing in tabur. And so you have 50 Muslims standing in line, all of them on a time budget, and Maulana is, praying his 4 rak'at before and after. And the people are standing at the window, Ya Shaykh, and he's, mashallah, Baqarah in awal rak'ah, Al-Imran in second rak'ah, and they say, Wallah, Ya Shaykh, ibadah, you're going to stop me from salah? Huh? And, reminds me of I hope it's not real, but they say that it happened. Somebody came to pray after Asr. He was very intelligent. So after Asr, this is the time of nahi, it's the time of prohibition. So someone told him, Ya akhi, don't pray. He said, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يَنْهَى عَبْدًا إِذَا صَلَّى Allahu Akbar. Have you seen he who prevents a slave when he wants to pray? What is this guy trying to stop me from salah? I'll get into the salah. Ya Abdullah, Allah yahdeek, but the guy is trying to tell you this is the time of nahi. This is Mr. Intelligent, when he's actually the opposite of that. This is not the time for you to be doing the nawafil where the people are standing in line. Look after the rights of Muslims with a good niyyah. To fulfill their need is better for you than this nafila. And if the time allows, alhamdulillah. But Allah knows the condition you're in. You would have prayed had you had time. But you realize the importance here, so you chose this over that one. You will not lose anything with Allah. That's aqeedah we should have. Allah will not waste the ajr of the person who's looking after the Muslims. And the other hadith which are, some of the scholars have differed about the authenticity, but to the effect that, and for me to walk with my brother to fulfill his need is better for me, or more beloved to me than doing i'tikaf in this masjid for 40 days. Sah? The hadith of Ibn Abbas marfu' to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Looking after is better than i'tikaf 40 days in the masjid. Just making sure that a need of a Muslim is fulfilled. Subhanallah al-Azim. Yeah, we become Allah yahdina bas. Speaking about myself at least. المهم نعم لأنه عبادة يتعدى نفعها. Why all this? Where's the foundation of all this? What I mentioned earlier. Because it's the type of ibadah which actually flows over to others. It exceeds the person to others. It benefits others more than only one individual. فينبغي أن يقتصر في النهار على المكتوبات ثم يستفرغ باقي الزمان في ذلك أو باقي الزمان في ذلك ويقنع بأوراد الليل. So he should then he should restrict himself to the obligations, the qadi or the one who's looking after the Muslims, and then whatever is left of the time, then he can spend it in what he's able to do, and then he should be satisfied with the matters of the night, because you're usually not looking after anyone at night. So this is the time for him to do his ibadah. Al-Khamis, Al-Muhtarif, the craftsman. وَهُوَ مُحْتَاجٌ إِلَى الْكَسْبِ لَهُ وَلِعِيَالِهِ. This person needs to earn a living for himself and for his children, which is basically all of us nowadays. Nowadays, it's all of us. Unless, mashallah, you inherited from your parents, a big lump sum of money, and you just, you have everything set up, in which case, I guess you don't need to work. But I don't think, you will hardly find someone among us right now who does not need to work, because he's so rich. So working has become obligatory almost upon all of us because of the, أحوال الحياة. The Shaykh said, فَلَيْسَ لَهُ أَنْ يَسْتَغْرِقَ الزَّمَانِ فِي التَّعَبُّدِ. If you have to look after your family and earn a living for them, then the Shaykh said, it is not for him. This is the wording. فَلَيْسَ لَهُ. He's not entitled to be spending his time in ibadah. Why? Because who has more of a right? The wife and kids. Because this is إِضَاعَ لَهُمْ. It's from their right that they are spent on. So if he has the means, this is different than someone who's unable to find a job or whatever the case may be. But if he has the means to earn a living, but he's not earning a living, he's spending his time in ibadah, while his kids are begging or looking, finding someone to look after them, then the Shaykh said he does not have the right to do this. بَلْ يَجْتَهِدُ فِي الْكَسْبِ مَعْ دَوَامِ الذِّكْرِ. However, he should strive in earning a living while continuously remembering Allah. That's easy. We said earlier, you can work on the computer and you can remember Allah simultaneously. You can walk back and forth if you're a driver, whatever you do, you're delivering things, you're going from a business trip to another business trip. All these you can engage a lot of ibadat into it, even a business trip. That you're traveling, so you make it a niyyah to give da'wah on the plane, whatever you meet someone, you involve the da'wah in the whole thing, so that even that business trip can become spiritually fruitful, inshallah. فَإِذَا حَصَلَ لَهُ مَا يَكْفِيهَ عَوَدَ الْأَوْرَادِ. Once he has earned sufficient, he sufficed himself in terms of the earning, then he can busy himself with the awrad. The last one, we're almost done, alhamdulillah. السادس المستغرق بمحبة الله سبحانه. The one who's immersed in the love of Allah. فهذا ورده بعد المكتوبات حضور القلب مع الله تعالى. This person, his wird after the obligatory prayers or the obligatory acts of worship is his presence of his heart, always thinking of Allah Azza wa Jal. وهو يحركه على ما يريد من ورده. And that heart is what diverts him or directs him to which wird he will engage in. His heart guides him to which act of worship he should get involved in, because he's always mindful of Allah Azza wa Jal. على كل حال وينبغي أن يداوم العمل على الأوراد. Whatever the case may be, one should be consistent in these awrad. لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أحب العمل إلى الله تعالى أدومه وإن قل. The hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. The Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, the most beloved of deeds to Allah are those which are most consistent, even if they were little. The most consistent and constant ibadah or amal is more beloved to Allah, even if the number is not large. But consistency is what it boils down to. وَكَانَ النَّبِيُّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم عَمَلَهُ دِيمًا. And the Prophet ﷺ, the kind of deeds he would get involved in are the ones which he was constant in fulfilling and carrying out. So that concludes this chapter. Inshallah ta'ala, if you all remain alive and healthy, we'll be dealing with the virtues of Qiyamul Layl, the night prayer, and the reasons which facilitate, or the means which facilitate praying at night, and what is the best kind of qiyam, is it 1/2 of the night, the whole night, 1/3, sleeping the beginnings, then the whole breakdown will be broken down by the Shaykh inshallah when the time comes. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.